My name is Chelsey McMillan and I am with Sew and Glow Quilting, and today I'm going to talk about pantographs, specifically how I choose pantographs for a quilt and how I help my clients choose pantographs for a quilt. All right, so today I'm going to be talking specifically about paper pantographs because I don't have a computer on my machine, and a lot of the edge-to-edge that I'm doing for my clients is with a paper pantograph. These are really great. They're printed out. The only problem is if you do need to scale it, you have to do that while you're ordering it. And I found a lot of great companies, the best ones, when you try to do a custom order on a pantograph, will actually email you and make sure you know what you want. They'll give you dimensions and talk about repeats and things like that. So keep that in mind when you're ordering a pantograph. You might want to make sure that you have good customer service because this is an investment. And not only do I have to pay for the pantograph and custom sizing, but I also pay for shipping, and I want to make it count every time I order one. So when I do have a client who wants to do an edge-to-edge quilt design, the first thing we talk about, well, actually, there are several things we talk about. One of them is theme. Is there a specific theme in your quilt that you would like to see in the stitching? The other one is scale. I like to physically have the quilt top here, and we can look at how big the blocks are in relation to the actual pantograph. And one of my favorite things to do is I'll actually take the pantograph out and lay it across the quilt, so you can see kind of how it's going to stitch on, and is it going to overwhelm the quilt? So you can see on this one, this is strawberries. It's actually a really cute pantograph, but the big strawberries are pretty huge. And the flowers here, the blocks here are not. And I really do think if you tried to do a huge design with tiny little blocks, it can be overwhelming. Now, it could go the other way, where if the scale of the stitching is really, really big, like I have tall trees, and we use that on a baby quilt with 3-inch blocks, and it looked amazing. But you really have to choose to either go really big or scale it down. So that's something I always talk about with my clients when they're here, and I think that's a really, really valuable, it's valuable because you can physically see what it's gonna look like. You have to use your imagination a little bit, but you can see the actual scale of this on a paper pantograph against the quilt, and I think that's really, really cool. Oh, so you might be wondering, well, what did your client ultimately choose for a pantograph for this really beautiful baby quilt? Well, she chose daisies because we wanted to go with a floral theme, but the roses that I had were looking a little mature. But what I really, really love is the scale of these flowers is really going to complement the scale of all of her piecing, and that's really what we're going for ultimately. So here's one more example of an actual finished quilt. This is my quilt, but you can see the quilting here is blended in. What it's doing is it's giving a nice texture, but it's not taking away from the piecing, and I think that's really an important thing to think about when you're choosing a pantograph. This one is called Sun Scallops, and it's a really cute repeat, and it's just a really happy pattern. Okay, so to recap, the two things that I really think about when I'm helping my clients pick out a pantograph, or if I'm choosing one for myself, is theme, and that can really, really go far. If you've got bears or, gnomes or Christmas, just show them those pantographs that match that theme. I try really hard to have themes for pretty much every major holiday, patriotic, things like that. They really go far for covering your bases. The second thing I think about is scale. I don't want the stitching to overwhelm the piecing. So either go really big or scale it back a little bit. but really try my trick of unrolling the paper pantograph on top of the quilt, and you can really get a good idea on what it's going to feel like. Some people also can do this digitally, but that's a different video for kind of a more complicated topic. But I really think that these two things are going to help you out a lot. So that's really my process that I go through with clients, and also for myself when I'm thinking about what would work for a pantograph on a quilt. You know, this is something that you can start to think about. And when you look at quilts that you like or don't like, you might find that part of the reason you either gravitate towards them or you kind of shy away might be the scale of the stitching of the pantograph. It might feel a little overwhelming. It might be just right. So pay attention to what other people are doing, and then you'll start to kind of learn this on your own. But this is a really powerful idea that you can bring to your clients that they will really appreciate. And it's just gonna make everybody's quilts look better, including your own. So if you have any other questions about paper pantographs or choosing pantographs or buying pantographs, let me know in the comments. And I really hope you found this useful, and have a great day. Happy sewing, bye.